everybody. Welcome to my brand new show, The New Agenda. My name is Candace New, and this is my show. This show is going to be all about, well, basically whatever I want it to be about. So you're going to get to hang out with me, and I'm going to find things that I think are interesting, and we're going to bring people on, and you're going to get to meet them, and we're going to have that little adventure together. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're actually bringing on Choi from the Rising Stars stunt crew, and we're going to talk a little bit about film, fighting, and stunts, and things of that nature. So I'm super excited. And then, we're going to talk a little bit about what that's like in the industry. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring out my good friend, Choi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Alive.
Barely, right?
Right here?
Yes, absolutely. And you can, move those pillows if you need to. It's fine. And so how have you been? What are you drinking?
Tea.
Tea? What kind of tea?
Earl Grey with ice.
You're drinking Earl Grey with ice?
Yeah.
Because you don't believe in hot tea?
No, I just actually like hot tea that's cold. Odd habit I picked up.
You're an odd bird. Look, I am so cool. I actually made myself cards because, my memory is going in my old age. So I'm super excited to have you on my show. Thank you so much. I know it's just been a couple of days since I've seen you last, so we've been having a lot of fun together, I think. Maybe you don't think so. We'll talk about that.
It's been an adventure.
I feel like people tell me that all the time, that it's been an adventure. Yeah. So let's see. I want to know, first of all, how did Rising Stars begin? Like, how did this all begin?
Funny enough, we started just as a kung fu school, and then there was a couple of the students that wanted to get into acting. And it was the thing of like, well, I have past knowledge of how to do all this because I used to do all the stunt stuff back in Hong Kong. So I was like, all right, I might as well teach you guys here to help get you like up in the industry. And then, we started doing that, and it was surprising, it actually worked out for everyone. So I was like, all right. So our next step was, deciding, do we want to go to LA, New York, New Mexico, or Atlanta? And we're like, you know what? New Mexico. And we came here and we set up shop. And
so you actually moved here so that you could do stunts. And where'd you guys move from?
Colorado.
Nice.
There's nothing there for film.
No?
No.
But there's, snow and
No, that's not.
nature.
No.
No, you're not a thing?
I grew up also in Wisconsin, and that was snow. When you open the door and it's like here.
Right?
Colorado snow. I was just like, that's cute.
Yeah, I grew up in Nebraska, so I kind of understand that, but I understand that Wisconsin's probably worse. But I definitely know that we didn't have snow days. We had cold days, and it was like you can't go outside because your lungs will freeze. And it's, here it's like, it kind of like snows a tiny bit, and then they cancel school, and then the kids go out, and, it's like dry outside, and it's so weird.
First time I experienced a snowstorm here was that weird freak one we had that just blew in from nowhere. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, there's snow. Get about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's gone.
Right?
That was interesting.
Yeah, I feel like the weather here is super weird. I know that there'll be times when it's like raining, like here, but like over there it's not. You could just like walk like 10 feet, I feel like.
I've actually saw that. We were driving on the highway, driver's side, pouring rain, passenger side.
You're like, what is this? Like, what? It's like one of those weird movies where you're like, and I just have a cloud over my head and it's raining. You know what I mean? It's like, okay.
Yep.
It happens all the time. And then it only rains for like a couple minutes. Like, it's like pouring outside or whatever, and you're just like, it's fine. If you just wait 5 minutes, it'll be over, and then we can move on with our lives. And so
pretty much.
Mm-hmm. But it does it's like the sky breaks open though, because it's like no rain, nothing, no sign of it, and then all of a sudden it's like you get a little bit of maybe like a trickle, and then all of a sudden it's like
bam.
And so it's like, get to the car fast. Yeah, definitely. So that's been an interesting adjustment, but I do appreciate the warmth in Albuquerque because I'm not a big fan of the cold.
I'm adjusting to the heat.
So what about, I know you mentioned like the importance of safety when you're working with a stunt crew. Like, what kind of protocols do you guys do to make sure that your fighting teams are safe? So
safety in this one, it's just an overall. So like things we practice would be like figuring out our timing, our distance. That's just on the basic fight, and it's just a practice and repetition. So we know where everyone is, and it's just there's not going to be a glitch ups. If we're talking about like a high fall, then it's making sure we have the proper equipment. So like an airbag, air ramp, everything is according. If we're doing a jerk harness, it's making sure we also have the mats and make sure the vest itself is secure, it's tight, the line is good so that nothing snags. If we're talking about burns, then we're talking about, and when I mean burns, it's like fire burns and everything else, and that's making sure we have the proper fire gel, we have the team, we have the protocol, the rehearsal times to know, make sure everyone is on point and knowing how to do it and when to do it.
Right. So that's a lot. So you talked about like making sure, you know, in your fight scenes that everyone knows exactly when they're doing what because it's all choreographed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really dance like I used to maybe sometime in my past life dance, but so I certainly don't choreograph anything, and I'm always amazed at the idea of choreographing anything. So how do you come up with like how you're going to do these fight sequences? Because I just like punch you in the face, kick you, now I'm done.
Well, the way I go about it is very much more of the Eastern route. So for us, a fight scene is basically a story within a story, and we are trying to express and tell you what's happening. So if you have two, like the hero and the villain, everyone thinks that we have to make the hero, you know, super strong, super great. That's actually the exact opposite. In more of the Eastern style, we want to portray the villain as that, because the hero is only as good as the villain. Because it's really boring if you get a hero, well, like Superman. He has every power. It makes his stories dull. The idea is really great, but there's no challenge. So we want to build up the villain. We want to build up the whatever he's facing to be these crazy amount of difficulties. So when the hero comes in, he can work his way, fight his way, or even talk his way to beat that. That's what makes a good storytelling. So in the fight sequences, I'll go look at it and like, okay, this is the hero, this is the skill set. What are his weaknesses? What are things we can do to make it harder? So like a project we were working on, like Project Valentina, we had the main character, he was going against 3 guys with weapons while he was being chained. Then we escalated that with 5 people, 3 of them with stun batons, 2 with knives. Then we escalated that up with 10 people, and just a gigantic fight. And it was just him going on by himself. So we just kept kicking it up more and more. So you guys it was like, oh my God, can he do it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. That would totally be, it'd be really boring if it was just like, I'm already super strong and look, I beat you up. Like, what's that? Yeah, that makes sense. So that's awesome. What about coolest project that you've worked on?
Oh, wow. That's a hard one. Coolest, I wouldn't know. There's a couple. Like one of my favorite ones was working with Johnny Young Bosch. He was actually one of the original Power Rangers. He hired us to go out to Texas to do a small, I guess, a short that he was putting out. That was called Arc Exodus. That was at the beginning of 2020. Another one was with a director named Ivan Howe. It was called Book of Job. And that was crazy because we had to film and do the entire fight sequences in under 2 days of practice. And it was basically one guy going and storming through an entire facility. So we had to figure out the spacing, timing, and weapons play for the entire thing while we're doing breakaway stunts and jerk harness on it. So we actually had to have a guy get lifted up, smashed to a table, then yanked into the wall so he goes flying. So yeah, it was.
Wow, yeah.
Working with you was actually pretty fun on a couple things.
Yeah.
And I think New Mexico projects have been. Red Rising, that was actually one of the first projects we did here in New Mexico, and that's a Power Ranger fan film. That one we choreographed a 15-on-1 fight sequence.
Wow.
And we had 2 guys jumping from off of a 20 feet roof.
And they're actually jumping from this roof.
Yeah.
They're not, it's not like a green screen. Because I always think, oh, they're just jumping off of like a green screen or something.
No, they got up on the top part. We had the mats, everything else, and they went all the way down, hit that ground, rolled right off, and kept going.
Oh my gosh. That seems a little crazy. So how does a person become a stunt actor?
Practice, and actually knowing safety first. There are relatively a couple different ways you can go about it. The best way is looking for the proper channels. If you're in LA, go look up a guy named Mike Chat. He's a close friend of mine, and he also runs the entire XMA franchise, which specializes in stage combat and for stuntmen. If you go take 1 or 2 classes, he'll start plugging you in. The other way is, and this is a lot of what is currently happening, and I don't agree with it, you can lone wolf it, which is, you put yourself out there, you say you're a stunt guy, you get yourself practice, and I don't agree with it because it's very dangerous because now people are going, can you do it? And you don't know your skill level or
Right.
what's good or what's not good. But
Well,
that
and
is
there's the pressure of saying that you can't. You know, if you say you can't, then you're going to be overlooked for that job, and that's it seems very dangerous. Yeah.
I find that people don't say can't as often when they should.
Right.
I have so many people say they can. Like one of the people that actually is part of our stunt crew now told me originally that he had training for a fire stunt. And when I'm like, okay, do you have the gear? Do you know the safety? Do you know this? Do you know? And when I was finally really talking to him, he's like, I don't know. I took a 2-hour seminar and I could do it. I'm like, that
Wow.
does not count.
Yeah, that seems like
Yeah.
really, really dangerous. So I know that you brought on one of your friends, Daniel Cameron, today, and so we are going to learn. You're going to teach me some fight choreography.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
He'll help you through it.
All right, cool. So we're going to go to that right now. So we're going to go over, and I guess I'm going to meet Daniel Cameron, and he's going to teach me, how to fight, or he's going to get beat up by me. I got to beat him up, right? I mean, he's not going to beat me up, right? Because it wouldn't. You mentioned that it would be boring if it wasn't a challenge, and so obviously I'm a small person, so anybody I fight, it's going to be a challenge. And I'm wearing heels, so that adds to it.
You're pretty badass, and Wonder Woman fought the entire World War in heels.
That's, you know what, I appreciate that so much. So let's go ahead and check that out. Let's go check out Daniel Cameron and do some stunt training. Yay me.
Alas, Maury, I knew him well. But can you spot the iceberg? Is it on its way? Are we gonna hit it?
What are you doing?
Appreciating art?
That's not creepy at all.
Well, forgive
Who
me.
put this here? Why? What?
I mean, this is the new show, right? I feel like we're trying to pull some Ellen DeGeneres energy into this. Degenerate, if you will.
I don't even know if you can say Ellen DeGeneres on this show.
Copyright. But anyway.
Good news though is if they sue us, it means that she's watching. Hey girl, hey.
Don't sue.
Okay, so anyways, I think we're here for a reason. So
So we're going to teach you how to kick the crap out of him for that.
yes.
First things first, though. What are you drinking, my dear?
I am drinking a vanilla latte. It's what I always drink. It's a little bit sweet and has milk in it because I don't know, sweet.
You enjoy a smooth flavor, I understand. However, I'd like you to put that down somewhere safe so you don't scald me alive when we fight.
Maybe that's part of the plan.
Oh.
I'll put it away.
All right, so first we're going to set up. We're going to throw a punch, block, and then throw. So how this is going to look is you're going to go on, he's going to dodge out, he's going to throw a big punch over, block, up, underneath, and take
What
down.
if he punches me on the side of the head?
He won't. That's why we just keep your arms up. He'll feed it to you, and it'll just look nice and easy.
Okay.
We do this with safety in mind very first. Come forth, fight me,
He's
heathen.
gonna hit me in the head. You know he's going to.
Nah.
Nah.
All right.
All right.
Teddy bear.
So, left side forward.
Left side forward. Mine.
Oh, this'll do.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Fighting stance,
Yeah. Okay.
and you're ready.
And throw that punch into the big empty spot by
Okay.
his
So we're
right
gonna go
here.
like this.
Yep.
Okay.
Then put both your arms up.
Both my arms or just one?
Just
Both.
one.
Okay.
One for now.
Okay.
Grab, turn,
Bam.
and
All right, and then he'll throw himself on the ground.
Like so.
Cool. All right, now we have to do that faster, obviously, so it doesn't look so phony.
I mean, hey, there's training and practice for a reason, and then there's camera ready. All right, then.
All right, we're gonna try this. What do you think we should go faster?
one more time, slow, and then we'll kick it to speed up.
Okay. Ready?
Ready.
Okay, we're gonna go. Bam.
Bro, why?
Yeah. Might fall. You never know. All right, let's try it one more time. Let's do this.
All right,
let's
Let's
give
do
that a
this.
try.
I'm ready. This is for you making fun of my face.
But it's a nice face.
Then why are you picking at it?
Because it has the goggles built in. I'm sorry.
Those are glasses.
I'm gonna be hurt real
My
bad.
kids got me those glasses.
And they're nice glasses. Please don't hurt me. I'm getting hurt today.
I'm gonna tell Luke.
Is he your father?
He's my son.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
All right, and you're gonna say action.
Ready, set, punch.
Okay, that was so much fun. All right, so when you fall on the ground, does it hurt?
Nah. There's a mix of training that you take to learn how to fall proper, and then if you're real bad, you get protection.
Hey, you got knee pads. That's awesome.
And they're actually, are we allowed to say who we're...
Sponsored by?
Oh, wonderful.
Absolutely.
So, Demon United, these people who do wonderful things, like they get you protective gear to stay alive. And they even give you like some of the crazier stuff, like harness vests and like elbow pads. Oh.
And the face mask.
Face mask?
Yeah.
Because every time you gotta take ballistics to the face.
No, just for you.
Just for me. They gotta cover this mug up, it's too pretty. Please tell me I'm pretty.
Wow. I think maybe we should wrap this up. Maybe we should go back.
Yeah, let's go back.
So, Daniel, it was so much fun playing with you today.
As it was with you and your wonderful photo.
Security, can somebody get him out of here? Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's go back over here.
Got the whoop whoop coming.
So that was
That was a thing.
that was definitely a thing. I mean, Daniel's great though. I know he's super funny. So that was so
Party-
much fun.
Party boy.
Party boy. Yeah. No, he wasn't dancing like that. That was way better. Mine was way better. I mean.
Sure.
So, you know, I think I'm gonna bring my kiddo, Luke. You're gonna meet him tonight to stunt training. I'm super excited because the world, maybe you guys don't know, but Gary does stunt training. So he's obviously a stunt coordinator, and he's, you know, in charge of the Rising Stars stunt crew, but he does stunt training. And so I've been bringing I've been going, and I brought my oldest son, Shiloh, who's gonna be 16 on Sunday. By the time you guys watch this, he'll already be 16. It's terrifying. But yeah, I'm also gonna bring my kid, my 13-year-old. His name's Luke. Now Luke's a little bit of a pyro,
We have one of our own. It's okay.
I know. I'm a little bit excited about that. But so for his birthday, when he turns 14, we've been thinking about doing like a controlled burn.
Do you want to set him on fire, or do you want to
Luke?
Or do you
My
want,
kid?
Yeah. Or we could.
I mean, I like him a lot. Like, I want to keep him.
He'll be alive. Don't worry. We'll figure it out.
Luke, you want to get lit on fire? Could be a thing. So much fun.
Or we could, make a little house from pallets and have one of my guys come out while the whole thing's burning.
I mean, that could be fun. I don't know. So we're going to have to talk about it. I know that you brought a guy who does fire.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yes, I did.
And he's here today?
Yep. There he is.
All right. So I think we've got Phil here today with us. Hey there. Go that way. Gotta go that way. Gotta go that way. Black coffee.
Yes.
That's it. You can move the pillows. It's fine.
They're the benchmark of an elitist.
I'm not really sure
Dad.
like who raised you, but that's really not okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
I get it.
That's not it.
It's all right. I apologize. I was raised
You let
in the
this guy
farm.
do fire? Maybe we should just light him on fire right now.
That's
Just
why.
bye.
Am I getting paid?
That's why we light it on fire.
Right? I mean, what are we thinking here? Like, wow. Okay. You're still leaning on my pillows, bro.
No.
Man, they're just for decoration, guys. They're not there for like,
I don't know what to do with them.
Don't you like have like a, you go to your grandma's house and she has like the vinyl covered couches?
She doesn't let me in the house either.
That makes
Phil,
sense.
treat it like a cat, okay? Not quite like that, but
I feel like your pillow privileges are revoked. Can you just get my pillow? Thanks. Give me the pillow. Wow. Okay. So, anyways, we're gonna talk about fire today.
Yes.
So, let's
of my
talk
favorites.
about how did you get involved with fire? Wait,
I've-
and make sure. Yeah, how'd you get involved with fire?
I've been burning stuff since I was a kid.
I have a kid who likes to burn stuff. We were just talking
Awesome.
about him. His name's
We
Luke.
should set up a play date.
He knows how to handle the pillows. So,
That's all right. I could learn that from him, and he could learn the fire from me.
I don't know if I don't know if it's bad or not. Like I actually am totally okay with like, when my kiddo comes home and he's like, Mom, let's chop off kids' heads in the backyard kind of idea. Like I'm obviously not like, yeah, let's do that. But like, I also don't. I feel like he's trying to like do shock factor, you know, and so I just kind of like don't let it phase me. I'm like, yeah, okay, well,
No, he's good. He's good.
you don't think
Yeah.
that's maybe I'm developing like a sociopath or something?
Well, my parents paid for therapy, so
Is that where you learned about how to not use pillows properly?
exactly. They didn't have pillows in the institution I was in.
I've definitely
So,
told my
yeah.
kids that like I'll probably mess them up and I'll just pay for therapy if they need it. It's fine.
Yeah,
But
it was expensive.
so Gary and I were talking about doing like a controlled burn for his birthday.
We could set him on
Easy.
fire,
Yeah.
or we could set you on fire.
Whoever, I'll even let him blow me out with the extinguisher.
That
How
could be
about that?
fun. That could be fun. So how did you meet this guy?
All right, well, he was giving seminars on fight choreography at Deidre Michelle's, and I popped in, and I kept popping in,
Yeah.
and eventually, we started barbecuing together.
Yeah.
Really?
Like not
Strangely
actual food. You mean like you?
Well, that and actual pork shoulder.
I've not been invited
biscuits
to
and
any
stuff.
of these barbecues.
Oh, really? Ooh. It'll happen.
We'll fix that.
All right. Well, that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
once the world opens up again.
Oh, yeah.
I love barbecues. I love food.
Yeah.
I'm a total foodie, as a matter of
Right on.
fact. So let's talk about fire safety. Like, because I certainly don't want to do any sort of fire stuff like without talking about safety. So what's involved with lighting something on fire?
Training. First and foremost, it's training. Even when we do a full burn, there's a certain set of choreography that goes along, and we have to like refine that technique with the director, and then we go through that choreography outside of the actual, filming. So, for the last one we did, we worked on that choreography for about a week before we nailed it down, and even then we had to change it when we showed up on set.
We actually practiced it closer to about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the first week we were just trying to get the bare bones, understand where we were.
Exactly.
Then the second week we were like, okay, this is the choreo we're doing. And then, like you said, we showed up on set and we just had to change it because everything else changed.
Exactly. That and the location is a lot different from our training facility.
Yeah.
So like we were outside. There's a lot of bushes and things. It's like all of a sudden we have to change it so that we don't light the desert on fire.
Right? Yeah, that feels important.
So now with the safety, there's multiple layers of gel. There's fire retardant clothes and a fire extinguisher and a fire blanket.
Okay.
We have all that stuff on set, So, again, the whole setup takes about 30, 45 minutes. And, I could go into details and specifics, but
That's boring.
Well,
yeah.
we don't want anyone to feel like they're getting a training course.
Yeah,
we
exactly,
sure don't wanna do
exactly,
that, yeah. And I think that's super important. So, but what kind of training do you have as a person to be able to do this?
Lots of training under Gary Choi. And then it is a perishable skill, just like acting. You pick up little bits and pieces from everybody else that you've worked with.
Right.
And so, working with different stunt coordinators, different stunt people, I gradually refined my technique, And the cool thing about fire and fight choreography is everybody does everything just a little bit different. So it's important to interact and network with all these people,
Right.
And so I've come to appreciate, some of the stuff that they do, and I've taken and integrated into my own practice.
Yeah. I think what's really interesting for me is I actually was talking with somebody who does stunts, and they were mentioning that like the pay rate is kind of, or sometimes is really kind of shameful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
and I'm thinking to myself like this is an art where you're literally risking your life, risking your safety,
Exactly.
and it takes an incredible amount of training,
Yep.
and then they're inviting you to come and work for sometimes nothing or for very
Yeah.
little.
Exactly. For your reel.
Most times, a stunt crew, we get treated as a crew member, which is, as weird as it sounds, they put us below extras and background. Because we're expected to do everything,
Yeah.
but we're not supposed to be seen. So that's part of the reason why.
Exactly.
It's crappy,
exactly.
but it is what it is.
Right.
And the other thing is, it's like, just like I'm sure you've put in your time, your money into your training as an actor, right? Same here. I don't know how many years I've paid for martial arts lessons.
Right.
I don't know how much I put into the stunt gear I bought from Demon United. Actually, I do. It was like around $600 just so I can go down some stairs, you know,
Right.
without getting hurt, mind you. You know, and then the fire stuff, oh my God, I got like, you know, easily another $1,000-some-odd into that too, you know?
Right.
And then the training that I paid through Gary Choi and stuff, he's worth it,
Love you, buddy.
you know? And you know, other people too.
Well, and your time, and I mean, your time is worth so much. And I feel
Exactly,
like
exactly.
in our community, I'm constantly amazed at how very little artists are really appreciated and
Oh, yeah.
expected to be paid, you know? And so it's something that, you know, I definitely, you know, just kind of want to
Yeah,
like bring awareness to, like, is the idea that it's not just stunt people, you know what I mean? But it's artists
yeah,
in general
exactly.
here.
It's talent. It's talent, man. The price that people put on talent is ridiculous. You know, they completely devalue the years of training that we put into our crafts.
Well, and that nobody else
And-
can do it. It's not like they can just be like, oh, just get
Exactly.
somebody else to do it. You
Exactly.
literally need the fire guy. You need this
Yeah.
guy. You know, you need
You
the
know.
guy with this amount of training.
Exactly. I mean, we've all seen projects with subpar people,
Right.
and those projects don't go anywhere. You know. And
Yeah.
it hurts to you know, and sometimes you feel compelled to actually take on those jobs just because.
You want to keep people safe
Yeah.
and the project safe.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, and because there's also, you know, not always steady work. So it's like, well, I have to take this project because I need the job, or I need the money, and because
Oh, yeah.
it's not paid at a rate that can carry you on to the next job,
exactly.
you know, it's like it's almost
Exactly.
like a cycle.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's almost like
It's
you
very
know.
much feast or famine.
Yes.
When the
Very
times are
much.
good, then you get
Very
lots
much
of work.
so.
But then when there's nothing, there is nothing. So
Yeah.
you have to scrap by.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy. So I think that today we're gonna set you on fire, right?
Am
I
I
have a-
getting paid?
I have a better idea. Let's set her on fire.
Better.
gonna- me?
Awesome. I'll do that for free.
You said, all right, I'm up for it.
All right.
Okay, I want to know about what's the process gonna look like.
Okay. First, actually, they're going to get to see a part that they don't normally see on film.
Right.
And it's the safety talk. Fire is inherently dangerous. So we're going to have a safety cue, right?
Okay.
Because I don't want you to just go run around and scream, because that's what you're supposed to do on set when you're on fire. That's
Right.
just what people do on fire on film, right?
Right, because it's supposed to look like it was an accident.
Yeah. So today our safety cue will just be to tap out.
Okay.
You know?
Yep.
Now the other thing is we'll probably just do a small burn on your hand. Actually, that's what we're doing. If you feel it get hot, don't do that, because
Okay.
then you're flinging fire retardant gel and accelerants and flaming stuff everywhere.
Okay.
So just tap, and
I'll do my
the
job.
beautiful and talented Gary will wrap your hand with a blanket and pull the fire right off you.
Okay.
It's pretty magnificent.
So if I forget to tap because my hand's on fire, can I just be like, excuse me, my hand is burning?
Yes.
Would that work? Okay.
Actually, that will work too.
Okay, great.
Just because there's no screaming involved, there's nothing else going on this set. It is a controlled set.
Right.
Something like that will, an auditory cue is perfectly,
Acceptable.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
But like the tap is generally what we do when we lay on the ground or whatever.
Get
So-
to the air.
Yeah.
So we have all the safety stuff, right? So
Oh,
first of
yes.
all, like, this is something that like nobody should be trying at home. This is something that we have we have two trained professionals here offsite, or right there, actually right next to his couch. We also have a fire extinguisher and fire retardant blankets and everything we need to make sure that we're safe. We also have an entire crew here watching and making sure that we're safe. And so we've been very intentional about how we've placed things today and all of that. So I just want to say, like, for people watching at home, like, even if you feel confident about the idea that, like, maybe you get some ideas about safety because Phil told you a couple of things, you are not an expert. You do not have the ability to do this. And I just want to remind you that this is not something you should try at home. And that goes especially for my kid, Luke. We're talking to you. And to everybody else out there who's watching. So just a little disclosure. And then we're going to get started and do this thing. So that's exciting. So
Great,
yeah.
great, excellent. So the first thing we have is our fire retardant gel.
Okay.
I make this stuff personally, so I know it works.
That's
And if you-
terrifying.
yeah, if you look at it, it's
Should I trust that he knows-
goopy.
Should I trust that he knows what he's
Oh,
doing?
this one, yeah. Nice and goopy.
That looks
Yeah.
gross. That looks
It
like
is. It's
Jell-O.
nasty.
something. I wasn't really thinking Jello, but yeah, now that I think about it,
We'll call it
I don't
Jell-O.
know.
Yeah.
We're gonna just.
Keep in mind, for like a full body burn, your whole body is covered with this.
That's disgusting. We
And
could do like an alien movie with this.
yeah,
Like
you
it's
could.
like the
You
alien
could.
slime.
Now, even on, I mean, you're literally on your face, on your hair, in your
hair.
ears. You know, after a full body burn, it usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour just to shower,
That's
to get
gross.
that stuff off. Now, that being said, I'm glad it's being put on you and not me. All right, and then
Safety blanket.
we're going through all the safety first.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, the important thing with the safety blanket is you want to make sure that there's no accelerant on it. All right,
Okay.
and this is clean.
We also
Right.
want to make sure it doesn't have nylon.
Exactly.
Nylon melts, so
Yeah.
even though people say it's good, it'll melt, and that's going to be the worst sensation if you have plastic melting into your hand.
Exactly, exactly. Especially if you have any exposed
So
skin.
this is for when we turn the fire off.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
And
Now, do
No.
you only use that when like do you put the fire off intentionally, or does it like ever burn out? Like, is it like a thing?
oh, it
that'll-
can burn out. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sometimes it does.
It
that
really
first.
comes down to the comfort level of the stunt guy who's doing it, and what's needed for the shot. There's been a few shots where they wanted to see the fire just keep going. Phil's had a couple fun ones on that one. Then there are other ones where as soon as he catches flame, he moves the camera, he has to be put out because we're done. We don't need to have him
Right.
put in there.
So in most cases, I just leave that up to the director, you know. But if God forbid that the shot doesn't happen the way I want it to happen, I'm tapping out,
Right.
you know, because I
Safety
don't
first.
care how much they're paying me. Well, actually, I do, but
Right.
whatever it is, it's not worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know. Now the other thing we have is our fire extinguisher,
Nice.
right?
I
now,
love the stickers.
yes, actually, that is
This
a
is for a
very
reason.
Oh.
important reason. All right. So you can't just use any fire extinguisher. It has to be carbon dioxide. This is the one thing that I will tell everybody. If you're going to do this stuff, get a carbon dioxide extinguisher, because if you use, like, we have fire extinguishers all over this building. If you use one of those, it's filled with a bunch of chemicals. And if you're getting sprayed all over your body with a bunch of chemicals, you're breathing that stuff in,
Right.
and that is just not good for you.
Okay.
Now, this is CO2, and normally I'm going to pull the pin, and normally we'd burp it, meaning that I just go psh, psh. But just because of the situation today, I'm not going to go through that, but I will take the pin out. Bam.
Okay.
Just in case. Now, with the stickers, a lot of times, you've been on set, obviously. You set something down, and it just grows legs and walks off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, when I go up to a PA and like, hey, where's my fire extinguisher? They come up with one like, here it is. And well, it's not CO2,
Right.
right? And then I can't use it, And then, it'll go back and forth because usually there's about 4 or 5 of these things, not including mine. But now I can say, did you see a fire extinguisher with unicorns all over it? And they're like, I don't know. They get on the radio, eyes out for a fire extinguisher with unicorns on it. Bam.
And it's
And then
because you
it
like
comes back.
unicorn.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I love unicorns. I don't know what it is about them. I just love them. But anyway, so this is my thing. And getting back to pay, you see these all over, buildings and whatnot, right?
Right.
You tend to take for granted that these things cost money.
Yeah.
This extinguisher is about $300-400, So that being said, don't go stealing the ones that you see around because they aren't good for this stuff.
Yeah.
Unless they say carbon dioxide.
And even
Right here,
then,
carbon
don't
dioxide.
steal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't steal. That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna keep this here, just because whenever fire's involved, there's flammable stuff.
No way. I thought that was a thing. I wasn't really sure. Fire
Yeah.
and flame.
Okay. So now today for an accelerant, we're gonna be using rubber cement.
Okay.
Now, I usually use rubber cement for all my burns just because I like the fact that you put it on something and you know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if they just start dunking you in diesel fuel
Run.
or
Yeah, that's
alcohol or
seems
something.
like how you die.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Not, So we're going to use this stuff. Now, normally I'd mix this stuff with a little bit of diesel fuel just to add some color, add a little bit of smoke. But again, we're in a controlled environment, so it is what it is. Now, this is so much fun. You're going to enjoy this. I'm excited
I'm
for
a little
you.
bit terrified.
Oh
'cause you're
yeah,
way
yeah,
too
yeah.
excited.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
like,
yeah. Exactly,
real
exactly.
excited.
You know.
When you answered and didn't know how to deal with the pillows, and then I'm like, I'm not sure if I should let you take care of my hand.
So I'm going to put these things on.
Now, doesn't rubber cement stick to things? Isn't that the point of rubber cement?
Exactly. So
Cool.
the cool thing about it is like when you put it on top of the gel, it just stays there.
Okay.
If I sit there and I pour diesel fuel on
So you're not going to
it's
put rubber
just
cement on my hand. You're going to put that on my hand and then the rubber cement on that. I see. Okay,
Exactly,
okay. I was like, you're going to rubber
exactly.
cement my hand to what?
So technically, what we're doing is I refer to it as a gel test.
Sure.
We just want to see if the gel works.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Pop the sucker back open.
Should we put like a towel maybe on the ground in case we get stuff
yeah.
on there? We don't want to.
We
good
have
call,
that right
good
there.
call. And we'll use this to take the stuff off your
Okay.
hand too. So here.
And is this where I
is-
should put my hand?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go thick just because you're new
It's
to
cold.
this.
Ew,
Yes,
it's really
yes,
gross.
It's nasty.
This is nasty. And now you said I need to keep my hand closed. I remember Gary
Yeah.
told me something like that. Is my
Exactly.
thumb okay, or should I?
No, just keep it closed.
As tight
Okay.
as you can, make it cup.
So
Okay.
I'm going thick on this because
This
you are
really
new.
is gross.
Yes, it is.
Remember back in Nickelodeon, they had slime?
Yeah.
This is
I,
just
you know
like
what?
that.
I agree. It feels like that.
Okay.
What about my fingertips? I feel like my fingertips,
Yeah, we're getting there. I just want to make
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Yeah. I usually go from the
Palm.
from the center out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure because the pillows,
Yeah, exactly. The
You
pillows
do you
thing.
take care of animals? Do you have any animals?
I have cats, but cats
Cats
take care of themselves.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I wish
I'm
I-
letting a guy that doesn't know how to take care of pillows, that has cats only as a pet, and that lights himself on fire for fun,
Oh God, you should see all the rest of the stuff I do.
light me
man.
on fire
It's
today.
like,
I'm not sure how to
yeah.
feel about this.
There's explosions he does.
What do you
Exactly.
guys think over there? I'm not
You
sure.
You should see my refrigerator, man. It looks like Jeffrey Dahmer's. It's crazy.
Can we bring
Yeah.
the security
Okay,
guy
okay,
back
cool,
out?
cool. All right on. Anyways, I'll just shut up about my refrigerator. It's full of pork shoulders, honestly.
That's great. I love pork shoulders.
Really? Yeah.
Barbecue. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we got everything. Actually, I went overboard on this because
You're a first timer.
Yeah.
exactly, and that way you can get used to getting lit on fire.
Yeah, but catch me in my next short
So
film.
yeah, I got to wear these gloves because this stuff tends to eat through skin.
Cool. Cool.
I am just playing.
I'm all.
Okay, so at this point we've prepped you for the burn, right?
Yes.
So now,
how do you get an actor out on a set looking like this?
We don't.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, normally we get this all stuff put on, and then we just kind of waddle out because if we move too much, we start to create gaps in the
Right.
gel. So now I've formulated my gel to be extra goopy, so that way the gaps are kind of minimized, but it still happens, you know. So usually you want to get prepped right before the burn, which is exactly what we
So
did.
the funny thing is, before Phillip actually got to be this goopy, when we were first playing around with it, it was a thing of, well, is this right? Does it feel right? And I was telling him, no, it doesn't feel right, because when I was doing fire burns in Hong Kong, it was super thick. It was almost like lotiony, thick like this.
So you guys were just like playing around trying to figure it out?
Well, everyone has
That's
their
what we're
own-
putting on my hand? That's how we're going to light me on fire today?
Everyone
No,
has their own
no.
recipe, and the thing is, the stuff that we use in Hong Kong, you can't get here in the stateside.
Yeah.
So there may only be one episode of this
Yeah.
show because I'm going to be maimed for life.
So here, now I'm going to go ahead and paint you up with my
Rubber cement.
rubber cement. So we're just going to put some right here.
Okay.
And
I'm really actually quite excited. I mean,
this is pretty
seems
cool,
like
man.
fun.
You will be
ooh,
amazed.
blue. Blue's my favorite color. Oh, I thought you were going to make the flame blue. Like my
No,
dad used to
no.
throw like copper shreds and things.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. I know
No.
copper was one of them to make the fire look
Cool,
pretty.
cool.
Copper for
Now,
green.
Copper
we have our safety cue. You know, if you want to use an auditory cue, that's fine. So normally we'd say action. Now, action doesn't mean action on set. It means cameras rolling, sounds rolling. Since
Right.
we're already here, and everything's happening, we can go ahead and light you on fire.
Okay.
So now the stunt coordinator
And it's gonna get warm, right? I will feel warmth or not really?
won't feel anything.
Oh,
It's pretty
okay.
amazing.
Okay.
So we got you painted up, we got you prepped, we're good to go. Fire, fire.
Blanket ready.
Yeah. Now, I'll light you on fire. Isn't that amazing?
Hey!
Now, normally at this point,
How's that
we'd
feel?
wait
It
until.
feels like nothing. I
Yeah,
don't feel anything.
exactly. Now, at this point, we'd, once it gets to where it looks like a
This is
fire
so
that the director
cool.
would like, then the stunt coordinator calls stunt action.
Okay, yeah.
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
we do our thing,
And
because, yeah.
And you guys move around with this stuff.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Obviously, because you're trained, so you can kind of like.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna move, besides that, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to like see what happens.
Now, normally when we train, I like to run around and scream because it keeps the safety team from jumping the gun. Because like
It's very
when you see
disconcerting.
somebody on fire and screaming, you got to get used to that and just take it as part of part of the stunt action, or the
Yeah.
stunt gag, right?
How's this feel?
I actually don't feel really anything at all, so it's just kind of hanging out.
Oh yeah.
How long will it burn for?
As long as the accelerant lasts.
Right, but I mean about how long?
Before you feel it?
Like what? Well, but I mean like that
Before
we
you
put
feel
on
it,
right
shit,
there.
I got to be honest with you.
That depends on how much
Yeah.
gel he's putting on.
Yeah.
Okay.
With your layer, you could probably go for a couple,
Yeah, exactly.
couple
At
minutes.
least a couple of minutes.
But
yeah.
I mean, it's the accelerant. I mean, is going to eventually die out, right?
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
it's getting smaller. It's like
As you're saying.
Exactly.
if we did
yeah,
this in
yeah.
reverse, it'd look like I actually created fire, and we're probably going to do that. I'm going to use this clip and be like, bam!
Oh man.
So watch.
Yeah.
I have to like hold on. I have to wait for it. I have to wait for it to die out, and then I'd be like, bam! And we'll use a reverse motion
Oh,
to like
nice.
make it, do
Alright.
something cool.
Yeah, that would be
Ready
fun.
and waiting for it.
Yeah.
It's taking its time.
I know.
Oh.
It's actually pretty sad because that'd be like a bam, and then it would just like sit there,
Yeah.
and it'd take forever. It's like a candle now. It's kind of.
But really, what got me into this stuff is all the science behind it. I love mixing stuff together and seeing what it turns into. That's probably why I like to cook too. The only difference is I can science for a whole bunch of people when I cook.
Yeah.
There
And
you go.
we've got no fire.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
not that you can really
Yeah, exactly.
see. It's
Not,
kind of there.
not much there, so.
It's the flicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
And let me get this stuff off. So we're going to take
Yeah.
this right
Now,
here.
now, when we put it
That
out,
was so
Now
gross.
pull
we're going to ask you, do you
How's it
feel
feel?
anything hot?
No, I don't. It's so nasty though.
Yes,
It's
okay,
really
all right.
gross.
Good. Well, that's.
Ew, it's like,
Yeah, here you go.
look at that.
And
It's
you
like
use that to wipe off.
nasty.
Yeah. And then go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Yeah,
so
no
much.
problem,
I
no problem.
appreciate that. Thank
It's a
you.
little
It's like giving birth to horses. You're like a vet.
I have 4 kids, so I've given lots of birth,
Yeah.
apparently, and I don't think you know anything about that.
Well,
Horses, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of sticky and gross, so that's lovely. Thanks so much. I have to be on the rest of my show with this. I should have done this last.
Oh well, sorry.
No, that's okay. That was really awesome. So,
Awesome.
Thank you so much for
Yep.
coming out.
No
that
problem,
was
no
just
problem.
so much fun. So I'm gonna let you take the nasty blanket offset, and I think we've got somebody else coming on here in just a minute. But thank you, Phil, so much. This was so much fun.
No problem. It was fun for me too.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to get lit on fire, give us a holler.
Thanks, Phil.
No problem.
That was pretty cool. I mean, I'm a little bit sticky, and so that's so much fun. I know that Jake's gonna come on here in a few minutes, but I got
How'd that feel? Aside from the sticky part.
the sticky part is like the worst. Like it was super slimy, and now it's sticky.
It's like candy.
Something. It's like something. Yeah. So, but I didn't feel any heat, so that was pretty cool. There was like a little bit, like maybe like right here, like where I felt a little tiny, maybe bit of like a tiny bit of maybe warmth. But that was it. So that was pretty cool.
So yeah, because how that gel works is it just retains that water. So as it burns, it just keeps dispersing it. So since you put it so thick, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. Well, that was so much fun, and I did take a minute and got all the sticky goopy off of my hands. So thanks so much for bringing Phil on. I'm super excited. We're going to invite our next guest on, Jake Allen Chief. How you doing? What are you drinking?
Hot chocolate.
Oh my gosh, I don't even understand the lack of caffeine in your life. Like, I just don't.
I don't like coffee.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Yeah,
hey.
it was a fun show.
Broadway Bound
It was a
Live.
good show.
What is that, guys?
Oh, Broadway Bound Live?
Yeah.
So it's not out yet, and that's probably why you don't know what it is. But it's a show that we're producing. We actually filmed it in a fall of 2019, and it's a show that follows 13. Well, this season followed 13 young adults who have the desire to be Broadway stars through a semester of training and rounds of elimination to produce a grand champion. And that the winner was given a director's scholarship to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York City. It's basically a full ride. So we sent that kiddo out to New York in October of this year, and they are doing incredibly well, and we're super excited. We couldn't premiere the show yet. It was supposed to premiere last year, going into season 2, but of course, because of COVID, we weren't able to do, auditions for season 2 yet. So we're holding off and basically waiting until that season is able to start, and then we'll start. But it's coming up. We're hoping to do auditions in August. So, yeah, and the kids are low income, so it's not just. Man, I really wish that we had like a promo or a segment or something. So. You did not mess with another one of my shows, Jake.
Well, I had to come on here and do a little something. So we got a little promo.
We got a segment.
Promo?
Apparently we've got a segment, so we're gonna see the segment. All right, cool. So, segment away.
Welcome to Broadway Bound Live. And together, we're going to follow 13 young adults as they go through a semester-long journey filled with training and performative jousting. Each has the same goal in mind, to be crowned the musical theater champion and be deemed recipient of a renewable scholarship to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York City. Welcome to Broadway Bound Live.
Man, I
Yeah.
miss those kids.
That was awesome. I want to be on that show.
I know. Well, you're a little too old, bro. So I actually brought Jake on so that we could talk about the project that we just worked on, Lotus. So first of all, what you guys don't know out there is that I brought Gary in, about 2 weeks ago, and sat him down and told him, "Hey, Gary, I want to put together a little music video." I wrote a spoken word piece, and then I decided I wanted to put some music to it. And so I texted Jake. I said, "Jake, I'm going to do a music video." And Jake, he creates these music videos. It's like a thing he does, and he's a choreographer.
Little stuff.
Just little stuff. Yeah, right.
By the way, she told me a week before we shot, "Hey, can you come direct this video?" And I was like, "All right."
And I was like, I don't even know what we're doing. Yeah, it was great. But so basically, I wrote a spoken word piece, and then I brought Gary on. I said, "Gary, so and I told him that the idea, and I said, "How long would it take to get this ready?" And he said, "A month." And I said, "Well, what if I wanted to do it in less than that?" He kind of laughed at me. But so what did we do, Gary?
We made it work. We just had to really, really, really cut and figure things out.
Yeah, we absolutely did. And so we definitely put together this video. And so we're going to go ahead and show you guys what we're working on. And then afterwards, we're going to talk a little bit about it, about the concept and things. So let's just go to that first. So we're going to go ahead and cut to Lotus and enjoy our little music video. The dawn encroaches upon the horizon. Crimson and gold, the beating is steady. Drums echoing upon the wind. She retrieves her blade and turns to face the horizon. The music is singing, the drums are still beating. A new day. The battle begins, the war raging within, old wounds scarring over, New abrasions sting from the tears on her cheek. She stands. She breathes. She fights. Each day, a new insurgence of words, of fears, of doubts. Within her, something lingers. A shadow that desires to be seen, a shade yearning to be known, a whisper longing to be heard, to not merely fade in the dawning of the light. Though broken and bruised from the dust, she rises through the muck and the mire, from the ashes and the fire. Her soul ignites. The dawning of a new day, same demons to fight. Yet this lotus is blooming by dawn's last light. I'm just really excited about the work that you guys did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So this piece was really important to me because, it's all about that idea of fighting the demons that we have. And so in the video, of course, you see the character that I'm playing. And the particular, I put in there, of course, like the demons that I really face. And so those are, my own reflection in the mirror, not always liking myself. And sometimes that's a physical thing, and sometimes it's more of like a who I am kind of thing. And then I put, the words that I've heard, those are kind of, that's a demon that has, chased me, as like the things that, I've been told, or broken promises and things like that. And then fears, and then doubts. And so I think that the biggest thing that I struggle with is doubting myself. And so this spoken word piece was a really, it was an important thing for me. And I really appreciate you guys coming on and working with me on it and bringing it to life. And I feel like when we work in this industry, it's hard because it's so competitive, and we're kind of, like you said earlier, kind of treated like we don't necessarily matter. And so I wanted to talk with you guys about some of your maybe experiences, working in the industry, or just dealing with your own demons. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, I dance too, and I'm a little bit bigger, on the bigger side of a dancer. So that's always been a struggle for me, just trying to figure out, where I fit, and getting directors to like that image as well. So that's always been kind of that struggle there.
I got something similar. I have a really bad case of body dysmorphia, so I know logically that I'm actually in a really good shape, but when I see myself, I think of myself way overweight, almost about 100, 200 pounds. Like, I look like I know it doesn't match, but it doesn't help, especially since how the media has really shaped and put the idea of what a person should look like. And it also plays into even more so with the Asian stereotypes. Asians are supposed to be either A, hefty, overweight, nice guy, or super fit, slim, or the martial arts badass. It's just, there's always that triangle. So it's the thing of, I have to fit that look, but it's so that really kicks in hard with my body dysmorphia. But
in between.
yeah. Well, I think it's a total, daily struggle, and that's kind of what we were talking about. Is the video starts with literally her getting up off the ground. She had just just survived something, and then she enters the battle again. And at the end, it even says another day, the same battle. But this lotus is blooming, right? And so it's the idea that every day, that we fight our demons, at some point, that one when we push her into the mirror, it's we've dealt with that one, at least for today, right? Because it's, there's always going to be a day that comes back. But it's, for that moment at least, there's some peace that we're able to find. And so what kind of advice do you guys have, or how do you guys overcome those insecurities?
I just, as weird as I just turn it off when I have to work. Because when I'm on set, when I'm on any project, I just have to turn off because my job is not now caring how I look. My job is making sure you're safe or he's safe or whoever I'm working with. So it has got no time for my ego. So I learned just to shut it off, deal with that later. And when I usually do deal with it later, it's me going, no, it's fine. I can do this. This is what it is. And it's just a process where I have to separate that out from work to personal.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest trick for me is on my personal time, then I can sit around and do things that I know that's good for me. Building model kits, cooking, spending time with kiddo. Those are the biggest things. But spending time with kiddo also adds, as you know, other insecurities such as being a good dad, being a good parent, making sure it's the other things that go with it. I'm just like, oh my God.
Right.
So I usually replace one insecurity with another with the kiddo.
That's how you do it. For me, it's a little different. I kind of understand that, you know, at the end of the day, you're never going to get 100% of people to like you.
Yeah.
So, and that's not just with my image, but that's just with anything that I do. So, I've just decided to do this even in my personal life is I'm just going to do whatever I think I want to do or what I think is best, and that's what it is.
Yeah. I think for me, you know, one of the biggest things that I think that I really struggle with is like abandonment issues, right? I feel like people are just kind of here for right now and eventually that they're going to hate me and they're going to leave, you know? So that's probably one of the biggest struggles that I really deal with. And so for me, it's really about being really, really intentional about looking and seeing the people that are in my life, because I've even been told before, like, you know, that's really not fair that I think people are going to leave me, because there are people that have proven themselves in my life. And so for me, it's been like being intentional about pausing and going through my cell phone or the notes or whatever. And I have incredible friends in my life who literally, like this morning, I woke up to a good morning. I want you to know you're amazing, and I just want you to have a great day on your show today, you know, text. And that was really lovely. And I have so many great friends that do that and that are present to me in my life. And I don't want to be that needy friend, but I also know that I really need that. So it's been...
Especially now, especially with the pandemic. Because before the pandemic, we could go out, get a hug, be with people. And now, since we can't, it causes that other issue where you're realizing you do need that affirmation or you do need to have that contact, which affects everyone a little bit harder than others.
Well, and I think that as people, like, we kind of feel like, you know, if you're doing that, then it's like you're hitting on somebody. Like, how many times have you guys ever done that, especially to a girl, and they're like, why are you, you know, like, so I feel like it almost creates a negative, like, you don't want to do that because it gives the wrong impression. But I think that we need to get over that too and just really communicate about how we care about people and be present to them. And
I actually come with my own Santa Claus. Like most times when I'm working on set, remember the first time I'm like, hey, this is how I am. I will address you as hun. I will address you as that. If you don't like it, tell me. So I usually I'm very upfront with that. That's how I get away with it, is I just tell people, hey, if you feel like I'm flirting with you, I'm not. This is just who I am.
I'm the opposite. If you feel like I'm flirting with you, I am.
Jake, you're always flirting with everyone. Shut up. So we are definitely going to have to wrap things up today, but we just want to say to everybody out there, like, you are loved, you are valuable, you deserve to be cherished, and we are excited to show you and hopefully encourage you with the video that you just saw and to continue to bring you great things on this show. So with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in, and it's time for a new agenda.